Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Now, I wasn't expecting on making a video this time around, but I just had my best ever finish in a GT3 race, which you can see right here, was P2. That is the highest I have ever finished in a GT3 race. So we're going to watch the full race today. We're going to go over the whole thing. I'm going to explain everything as we are going. Yeah, I'm just stoked on this because I've really struggled with the GT3 car. I am an open wheel driver at heart. That's what I've always been. So learning these heavier cars is a challenge for me. This is something that I've been working at for a very, very long time and have never really found any significant success in the whole GT category. So yeah, I'm making a video because I wanted to document my highest ever finish, which was P2 in a very strong lobby here. There were a lot of good drivers here. As you can see, I am weaving just to keep the temperatures up, but this was an absolutely amazing race. Everyone was so clean. Everyone was extremely fair. There weren't any bad blood incidents like that or anything that happened. Everyone raced me super fair, and it was an extremely difficult competition. So let's dive right into it. All right, so we're actually at the end of lap 1 there. I didn't really share from the cockpit because nothing really interesting happened, but yeah, the leader was in his own world. So yeah, props to him because he was super quick. I wish I could get the scoreboard up for you guys, but of course, as you can tell, the race is already over. I wasn't intending on recording this one, which is why I'm doing it this way. But still, nonetheless, what an absolute just amazing race. That's all I can really say about it. I'm just really impressed with how everybody was driving. I've had so many races recently that have been super rough, and this has been a thing around iRacing from what I've heard. It's just a lot of people driving very aggressively recently. So to be able to have a race that didn't have any of that was such a great feeling. I didn't have any accidents happen in front of me, so I was super impressed with everyone here as we are behind. I forget who this was, but we'll take a look right here. This was Trent. So yeah, something very weird happens here. I don't know if it was this lap, but I end up overtaking Trent here, as we'll watch from his point of view. So Trent, of course, is he's going to cover the inside here, and we're going to go around, and he is just going to follow us. But then something very strange happens. He just decides to pull off into the pit lane. So I don't know if he maybe had to attend to something or spilled a drink or something, broke. I don't know what exactly happened, but he pulls off into the pit lane, and I actually don't even know what happened from here. I don't know if he DNF'd or repaired some damage, so we'll watch. We'll see what happens. But yeah, very weird thing to happen. Of course, this obviously played in my favor as the person in front of us. Yeah, so it seems like he just DNFs there. Fuels up or something. That was very strange. I don't know what happened there or what was even going on. That was very odd nonetheless. So we're riding along board with P6 right now. This is Sammy Hendricks. He was actually very fast, and we as you will see later on, have to deal with him and keeping him behind. But you can see us just up there in P3 behind Zeke. There was an epic battle going on behind here. These guys really weaving, fighting for position. I actually didn't see any of this behind me, so this is my first time seeing this. Is there going to be a dive bomb up the inside? Doesn't quite look like it. Sammy's just going to witness this one from behind, and it looks like he's going to hold his position. So I don't know who these other drivers are in front of us, actually, so I'll take a look right now, as it looks like we've got Marco and Jason Patrick. So these guys were really battling out. Very quite interesting. And I remember looking at my mirrors during the race and seeing these guys behind me and knowing that I basically had zero chance of any mistake. If I made a mistake, my race was over, which is why I consider this to be probably one of, if not my best drive ever on iRacing. To be honest with you, I don't think I've had a better drive than this. I have won races before. I've finished on the podium a lot. I usually finish towards the front if I don't make a stupid mistake in qualifying or something like that, which ends up putting me down further down the field. But usually if I have a decent qualifying, I usually make up positions. I never really lose positions. So that's why if you ever watch one of my videos or one of my streams or something and I'm so frustrated during a race when I lose positions, that's why. I just hold myself to really high standards. It's nothing more than that. And so that's why in this race, in the most humble way possible, I truly believe this to be one of my best drives because of the fact that I was just so consistent, and I honestly, I impressed myself. I really did. And I'm really trying hard not to sound cocky here because that's not what I mean. I just mean, like, I know what I usually drive like. I know what kind of results I usually get. And this exceeded all of those expectations because these drivers in this lobby were so good. All of them were so talented. They were putting the pressure on me the whole time. And somehow, which is not normally how it goes, I was able to deal with it. And I was able to just focus on completing laps. So we'll actually skip to my camera here as actually, wait, hold on, the Porsche is going to make a move around the outside. Is he going to get that done? It doesn't quite look like it. Marco then looking for the switchback. Maybe I thought he could actually kind of maybe get that move, and then that's where it looks like Jason has a moment. I remember seeing the relative drop in the race, so that seems to be what happened there as whoever this is, Sammy, is going to actually follow through on that and end up in P4. He was incredibly fast during the race. If we look at his lap times, you can see he was doing 19.0, 18.6 was his fastest. That's a very quick time in the fixed setup. So yeah, he was doing very good. So back on board with me now. This was actually what a lot of the race was like. I was pushing as hard as I could. You can see I did about a 19.2 there or something like that, and we were following Zeke Castro, I believe is his name, which I think he was streaming this race as well. So if I find his perspective on Twitch somewhere or something like that, I'd love to throw in what ends up happening at the end and see his perspective. But yeah, this is an incredible battle that ends up happening because the gaps pretty much stayed like this for the, I would say, majority of the whole race. There were a couple times where I ended up getting closer, I don't know what language that is, ended up getting closer or further back, and I just couldn't really seem to find that window where I was like really right up next to him. And so what ended up happening was I just knew that I had to stay in his slipstream or else I was going to lose this position. There was no way I was going to overtake him. And so it ends up staying like this for like 10 laps or something like that. I think we're on lap 4 or 5 right now. We're on lap 6, yeah. So it ends up staying like this for another like 5 or 6 laps. I really don't get close at all. So we're just going to go ahead and skip ahead here. All right, so we'll start from lap 10 because that's where really the things started happening of why I started to make decisions that I did. And so what ends up happening here is I discover a new line into turn 1, which allows me to go about 0.2 faster. So basically what I started doing is I was always taking, I don't know if that's turn 1 or turn 2, whatever that right-hander is over the hill. I was taking that in second gear. So I was going from third gear to second gear, and I was flat out second gear over the curb. But what I ended up doing is I just tried to take it through third gear, which is, I know that's the way that you're supposed to do it. And so I just wasn't comfortable doing it, which is why I didn't do it in this race. But towards the end of the race, I figured, you know what, I need to try it because I'm never going to overtake this guy if I just hold myself back that little bit to try and not wreck the car. So what I was going to do here was, all right, I'm going to push and I'm going to complete every one of these laps like it's a qualifying lap to see if I can catch up to this guy. And so that was my mindset starting right now. I was going to knock out every single lap like it was a qualifying lap. So it starts right here as we go over the line. I am treating this like it's qualifying. I'm just on the track with other cars. So right here, just after the 100, I'm going to go down to fourth gear and I'm going to take this corner, hug it, and try and use a little bit of the exit, but I want to set myself up for this. And so now I'm going to go down into third and coast over it and then go to second gear after I end up over the curb. And so now we're still following Zeke here. Just hold the line. This is all typical stuff that you do through Road Atlanta. Brake before the curb to third gear, then use all of this thing on the outside. It's very bumpy. It kind of throws you all over the place. But if you do it right, you should gain time. You shouldn't have any issues. Brake after that board right there. Hug the post and then kind of grab this throttle right through there. All normal stuff, normal Road Atlanta stuff. I don't know why I said hug the post. I meant to say hug the curb. I'm a hockey player. I'm used to saying things like hug the post. Anyways, now we're following Zeke. You can see we've just gained a little bit of time. That gap went from probably about 1.5 to I'd say 1.3 now, maybe even 1.1. Point being, we're now in the draft, which is huge. That's extremely important once you get in that really vulnerable part of the draft. So now we're entering the final stages of the race. I believe this next lap is going to be my fastest lap of the race. So this one should be about a 1:19.1 or 1:19.2, and I believe this one's going to be a 1:19.0. So this is down to fourth gear. I could tell he was really starting to struggle. The leader was doing 1:19.2s, and the person in front of me was doing a 1:19.4. So I knew I was faster. I just had to really knock in these laps, and I have to say, it is so unbelievably hard to dial yourself in during a race and just act like you're doing qualifying laps. Because when you're doing a qualifying lap, you are on the edge the whole time. And during the race, you kind of have to take a little bit of that back because you obviously you don't want to crash the car. So you kind of have to drop that threshold a little bit of where you're pushing the limits. But now you can see, look how much time we've gained in the past 2 laps. This whole race has been pretty much stagnant, and I've been 1.5, 1.7 seconds behind Zeke here. But now we finally caught him because I made those changes during the race. So I just kind of entered that extra 10% that I needed to really kind of get myself within a position to finish P2 here, which is something I've never done before. This would be my first time in a GT3 race ever finishing P2. My previous finish was P3. Now we're really, really close. The race is getting close to finish here. I believe we're on lap 13 right now if we take a look here. So yeah, lap 13. So this race pretty much only has about 1 lap to go. This is going to be the final lap before the white flag lap. So look at the time we gained through turn 1 there by using my new technique of carrying through with 3rd gear, and then if the car is just a little bit too oversteery, shifting down to 2nd to get it to slow down a little bit. But for the most part, I'm taking it with 3rd gear now. And I love those moments when you're racing and you discover a new technique or you discover something different that helps you gain time, because that's what it's all about. It's all about pushing the limits. Now look at how much we've caught up here. This is really, really exciting for me, and I knew during this point of the race I had to make this move because there was no way I was going to get by him if I didn't make the move here. So you can see this is an insane battle that's about to happen. So I am going to actually go to the right side here. I'm going to fake like I'm going to go around the outside, and at the last possible moment, I switch back. I go to the left side. I dive it up the inside. Perfect braking, and we get the move done. That was one of my best overtakes on iRacing ever. And he was such a good driver. He was fantastic, extremely fair throughout the race. So let's watch it again here. All right, so we're going to watch it from the TV perspective now, and I'll tell you more of my thought process here. So as we were going down the straight, I knew I was going to catch him. I just had to figure out where exactly on the racing line he was going to go. And so right there, if I can pause it, and it didn't pause, hold on. So right there, if we go back, as I was going here, I knew if I planted my car to the outside, he would check his mirrors and he would really react to that. And so that's why I chose this section of the track. And so as this happens, what I was trying to do was I was trying to calculate when he was going to look in his mirror, and that's when I was going to switch across and make the move. And so that's what he does. He looks in the mirror, he checks the right side, and then that's when I switch across, and you can actually see him react to that because I don't want to say he wasn't paying attention because that's not what he was doing. He was definitely paying attention, but you could see that little bit of hesitation causes him to react. Then he sees it right there. He realizes there's nothing he can do, and now we're up the inside, but I do have to applaud him. He was extremely fair. Look at how much room he gives me. That is how you race, guys. That is how it's done. That is how you race properly. You don't squeeze them. You don't bump into them. You don't force them off the track. This was just great defense and a great overtake. There's really nothing else to it. So we're able to get that move done, and then as you can see, we are finally through. So we'll watch it one more time from his perspective. So unfortunately for him, I would say there really wasn't much he could do there. what ended up happening was a lot of those mistakes from him in the previous lap, this lap where he gets overtaken, is really what cost him there. I don't really think there was much else he could have done, because at that point I just had so much speed, and it felt so different for me through the end of the race. I think it had something to do with the lightening up of the fuel in the car, that the car just like came alive at the end of the race. It was just performing so well, and that is really what allowed me to extract the most out of it. But you can see he was keeping up with us here, and I don't want to say that I didn't feel the pressure, because I definitely did. And I'm sure you guys know what it's like to have somebody behind you that's incredibly fast. It is very, very nerve-wracking, and it's extremely difficult not to do what they call racing in your mirrors. And so I just had to like constantly tell myself to calm down, and constantly tell myself to just watch what's ahead of me. Just ignore the mirrors. Don't worry about it. Just keep driving forward. Look ahead. Keep going forward. Do not focus on the rear view mirror. And luckily that ended up actually really helping me, because I just felt calm because of that. I just telling myself to calm down and not worry so much really helped me extract the most out of my laps, and I ended up doing a lot better lap times because of that. But you can see I knew where he was faster than me on the track. I knew in this chicane right here he was faster than me, and I knew going into the back section all the way at the end of sector 2 that he was a little faster than me as well. So I just tried to hold it down. It's actually a little weird watching myself drive from somebody else's point of view, but you can see he was really putting the pressure on. But I think that was kind of his last chance to make an overtake, and he really tried to send it in there, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. So we were able to keep that, and really not much else happens for this race. We end up finishing P2. I believe this is the white flag lap, or the next flag is the white flag, I don't know. But yeah, we were able to hold Zeke behind. So that is going to be it for this video. I just wanted to share this because I really enjoyed that race, and I just had a lot of fun. So again, props to Zeke for the amazing battle. I believe he was streaming on Twitch, so I think it's Zeke, twitch.tv/Zeke Castro. It's in the chat actually. So I'd like for yeah, for you guys, you can see right there, twitch.tv/Zeke Castro. Go show him some love if you end up watching this video, because I really enjoyed that battle. That was a ton of fun. And yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Please actually in the comments let me know if you enjoy this style of video, enjoy like a race recap kind of thing. And if not, if you'd like to see me drive live, then let me know as well. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as we do pretty much sim racing videos every single week. So yeah, if you want to watch more, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.